There's a game when you were playing in Buffalo, in Houston. I'm not kidding. I think I had 15 quarterback hits that game. In the final drive of the game, I swear, I hit you on like 7 plays in a row, 7 hits. And every single time I hit you, I was 100% convinced you were not going to get back up. I was like, okay, that was the one.
Oh, welcome to Fitz and Whit, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original. We are your host. I am Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm Big Whit.
You are Big Whit. Thanks for chiming in there, Whit. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. That's Fitz, A-N-D, Whit. We'll be coming to you every Wednesday this season, but today we have a very special bonus episode to kick off the season because football is officially back, baby.
We are back. We are back. Listen, Fitz, football is back, baby. But you know what? You and I just had our last Thursday night off, bud. I hope you enjoyed it because you know what? The Cowboys and Eagles got their little shine on, but the rest of Thursdays are all for me and you, bud.
You better believe it. Well, think about how much powder they had to put on your head, speaking of shine. It's unbelievable to watch Whit go through the makeup table. Nothing on his face, all on the top of his head.
Well, you tried to not do it for a while, and Amy made you get back in that chair. So, listen, we're going to give you today all of our thoughts about that game. Obviously, we're also going to get into debuting a brand new segment, which I am very excited about, because Fitz is going to test his brain power against a specimen that I think is just another genius, and that is my bulldog, Hank the Tank, baby. Hank's going to make his podcast debut. I can't wait for this. And last, but definitely not least, we're going to have a visit from the man, the legendary, Fitz's old teammate, J.J. Watt. Let's go, baby. J.J. Watt in the house.
We did it. We got JJ on the pod.
Come on, man.
Can't
We're
wait
big time now, Fitz. We got JJ. We're huge. But hey, I want to give one quick shout out, Fitz, before we get started. And I know you've just been dying to hear about this because you see the shirt and you know what's going on. LSU Tigers, Jesus. Baby. The LSU Tigers went into Death Valley Junior, as we like to call it in the South. That's Death Valley Junior. Death Valley Senior is located in Baton Rouge, baby. So listen, I thought this was awesome. LSU starting off the win. Brian Kelly needed it, but I thought Fitz getting into this week 1 of the NFL season, I thought this was really cool. This is Brian Kelly's quote post-game, and it tells the story of how fast things change. He says, our fan base was supposed to be eroding going into this game. The head coach is supposed to be on the hot seat. We can't run the ball. We can't stop the run. And 24 hours later, all of you sane people say we have one of the best teams in the country. If that's not sports and football right there, I thought that was the best quote because that is what it is. This week in the NFL will be the same way. Every team we put on a pedestal, somebody will fall and we'll say the season is over and somebody will win. And we will think like last year, the New Orleans Saints are the next team going to win the Super Bowl after a couple of weeks.
Oh, Tony Gonzalez had him penciled in last year as the Super
did.
Bowl winner. One thing about the Tigers that really makes me feel old. I played for Garrett Nussmeier's father, Doug. It was my rookie year, 2005, which Garrett was 3 when I was a rookie. So that's how far we've come there.
Don't forget, a former teammate of both of ours is a coach for the LSU Tigers, which just sounds strange to say. K-Dub, baby. Big Kyle Williams had that defense going. I was excited to see that, man. He was a college roommate, a buddy I grew up playing high school football against, and to see Kyle after his legendary NFL career now dominating as a coach in college football, really freaking cool to see. And I know he'd be pumped to know we got J.J. Watt on the pod today.
Yeah, he would. And he is an intense individual. He still scares me a little bit. Very intimidating, very stoic with his demeanor. And for Bills fans, just one of the all-time best to get to the playoffs. The reaction that he had in the locker room was an all-time moment. Certainly one that was very emotional for all Bills fans. But as we mentioned, football is back the first Thursday night, and our only Thursday night not covering the game for Amazon is in the books. Let's get into it here, Whit. All right, Whit. Season is underway. First game in the books. The Eagles beat the Cowboys. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, if football is back, baby, if there's no better way to say football is back, we got spit flying. We got ejections before we have our first play. We have lightning. Michael Jordan's in the house. I mean, and then even better than that, Fitz, Uncrustables at halftime. You've talked about your love for Uncrustables.
Love
the
them.
Uncrustables got broke out during the delay. I mean, is there any better way to celebrate football being back? Come on.
Well, and I say, dude, Dak was skinny. Like, they could say whatever they want about Dak, saying, the weight is in different places. Dak is 15 pounds lighter.
Oh,
he looks awesome.
Question. He looks good.
Here we go is still a thing, which I was happy about. I'm glad that didn't go by the wayside. Me and you were texting during the first half, and it was like, does anybody blitz anymore? Like, what is happening? And the notes I was writing down in the first half, it's like, Eberflus and the Cowboys, they're going to have to find their identity on defense. But then, not coming out of the half, but maybe after that lightning delay, they started blitzing. They started bringing guys after Jalen Hurts, and look what happened. It changed the identity of their defense and the way that they were playing. It was a frustrating first half to watch, though, because even though there was points put up, they were all methodical drives. We had the one long pass to Dotson, but both defenses were just passive. They were sitting back, and it was just, first down after first down after first down, which led to touchdowns. It was good to see the defensive effort and the pressures pick up in the second half.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, obviously a frustrating first half there. I think probably for an Eagles fan, your best player on defense gets ejected before you even have your first snap. And then all of a sudden it looks like, the Cowboys are going to start putting up a ton of points in this game. And we joked like maybe this would be a score fest, but that's what it looked like it was going to be after the first, 30 minutes of the game, the way the Cowboys were ready to move the ball. But I thought, just some things, obviously, you get up and down on Jalen Hurts. It's like there's times in the game where you're like, hey, man, I just feel like there's more there than what he does with the football. But he takes care of it. You got to give him credit. Here's what he does. He takes care of the football, and he uses his legs to continue to extend plays. And when you're playing a team that doesn't have a dominant pass rusher, and you can continue to rush for, and he's going to get away from it, he's going to kill you. But I did think it was crazy. I saw this was his first scramble touchdown since 2023. All of his touchdowns last year were on rushing plays. First time he scrambled for a touchdown since 2023. But man, that's what it looked like early in the game. It's like, Cowboys, you're going to have to do something else than rush for, because you're playing with some young rushers. They're getting out of their lanes, and this guy's killing you every single time you think you got guys covered on the back end.
Yeah, when you play a guy like Jalen Hurts, that's what you're going to hear all week as a defensive line, as a defense in general, is rush lane integrity.
Yep.
Rush lane
Keep him
integrity.
in the pocket.
And they couldn't do it. And it's harder said than done, because even when they were bringing pressure in the second half, he's a tough sucker to bring down, man.
I almost text Sherm. I said, hey, can you tell me what are DBs supposed to do? Because we're taking angles. We're completely whiffing on the quarterback, and you're coming free. We got to have a better plan to get this guy on the ground.
Yeah, but Diggs is still a receiver at heart, man. He's not making many tackles out there. But it is. He's such a tough guy to bring down. I think two things, if I'm Eagles fans, that I wanted to see in this game. One was Kevin Patullo, new offensive coordinator. He's been around Jalen the last few years. He's been around Sirianni the last few years. How did he do? Well, they come out of the gates and they score 3 touchdowns on the first 3 possessions. I think he passes there. But then it's the talk throughout the game of, all right, but A.J. Brown doesn't have not even just a reception. Like, A.J. Brown hasn't been targeted. And so when you sit and you look at the stats, think, okay, Jalen Hurts threw 23 passes, but he had 14 rushing attempts. So 14 rushing attempts. I'm remembering 2 tush pushes. Is that right? Was there more than 2, or was it just the 2?
Yeah, then you look at just air yards alone. Dak 10.2, Jalen Hurts 4.5. That was his air yards in the game, right?
Yeah, and the 151 yarder to Dotson, right? And if you took that one out, oh my gosh, there was nothing. But that means that Jalen, there were 35 pass plays that were called probably, and he ended up tucking and running on 12 of them. And so you just sit and, we have to watch the all 22 and see the routes, and if AJ was open, if he was the primary guy in a route. But, he's had some big years with Jalen Hurts too. So hopefully this is an anomaly. It's one game, and they have a great relationship. So just trying to, as a coordinator now, a new coordinator in Kevin Patullo, keeping your personalities happy. That's a big thing, and managing that throughout the week. And that will be something that's interesting. Devontae Smith, same thing. I mean, he had a couple catches in the game, but nothing to write home about. So, yes, they won, but was it the performance that the receivers wanted to have? Probably not. And then CeeDee Lamb, man, on the other side with a couple big drops at the end was tough to see too. he had a good game, but tough to see those drops.
Yeah, tough to see the drops. Kind of when those moments, to Jerry's point, when he traded Micah, as they already had a ton of money invested in a couple players on their team that they thought were going to lead this team. And for one of your guys like him, CD Lamb, to be somebody you've put a lot of money in and you're expecting this is the guy in the biggest moments, we want to play his biggest. Wasn't able to make the catch. It's early in the year. It's week 1. I'm not saying this is CD Lamb's season, but I'm sure this is a moment he will not forget for this year. And I'm sure next week he will be out to prove it's a much different story because he's a heck of a football player. But I also think you look at it, Fitz. I mean, there's no such thing as like, hey, we didn't win, but we won. But you look at the way the Cowboys play defense, I think pretty impressive by Eberflus and his group in the sense of how they stopped the run really in the second half, the way they responded after the delay. I thought they played tough and they looked like a group that everyone thought coming into this game they're going to get thrown around and the Eagles are just going to march up and down the field on them. I mean, if you really take away that ability, if they'd have done a better job of keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket in the first half, they really didn't have that bad of a game defensively to what people expected. I thought they really competed hard. They played their butts off. And right there in the game, I mean, they got off the grass a couple times and gave the Cowboys a chance. All you want when you're paying a guy $50-60 million to play the quarterback position, give him one more chance to go win us a game. They gave him 2.
Yeah.
Right? And so they gave him 2 chances, ball in your hand, take us down, go win the game. I mean, defensively for the Cowboys, it wasn't going to be pretty all year, but you give your quarterback, that's the guy, twice in the second half, a chance to go win the game at the end of the game for you. I think you got to feel pretty good about their effort on that side of the football. And for the Eagles, I was happy to see that Patullo knew one thing. After the bye last year, that offensive line wanted under center runs. They came out at the beginning of this game. He was like, hey, boys, I didn't forget that conversation. And while we started going to Super Bowls, we changed our identity. That's what we were going to be about. They come out in the first couple drives of the game, under center, running the football. That's a good sign because this Eagles team, the talent they have and the guys they have, they're going to be tough to stop all year long.
Yeah, and one more note on the Cowboys in watching the game. Every time it was one-on-one coverage, single high, man-to-man underneath, Dak's eyes were on CD Lamb. And that completely get it. That's his guy. That's the bread and butter. I think as the season goes along, he had the one PI deep to Pickens. He had another one deep that did end up getting caught in the end zone. But I think as the season goes along, he's going to figure that out and get a little more comfortable with George Pickens as well. And that's going to be really big for the offense. But CeeDee Lamb is an elite receiver, and you hate to see what happened, especially on that post. I mean, Dak put it right in the breadbasket, and he dropped it.
Oof, that was a beautiful ball. I thought that was impressive by Dak, Fitz. I thought, like, just his aggressiveness. All game long, I thought Dak, man, that dude was like, I'm trying to win this game. Like, I don't give a crap about the stats. I'm trying to win the damn game.
It was a good reminder, right, that 2 years ago, this is the guy that was a runner-up in the MVP race. Like, Dak is a great player. He's in year 10. He has weapons around him. They've really put the resources in the offensive line. This is going to be a tough offense to contend with all season long. I think a lot of the question marks are on defense. And like you said, I mean, the good response in the second half by Eberflus and the guys. But Dallas is going to be tough this year, and it's because of the ability to put points on the board. And Javonte Williams, he did a fine job.
Something they missed big time last year, that physical back style.
And so he's going to be a guy this year too, and hopefully a couple years removed from the ACL injury, he's going to be a dude. So I'm excited for the Cowboys this year, especially to see what they're going to do on offense.
Well, listen, the bottom line is night one is over, but guess what? Thursday nights are ours now, Fitz. Get these people off. It's our time, baby. NFL on Prime. The rest of Thursday nights, it's about us, baby. Let's go. I can't wait, man. Look forward to seeing you next week in Green Bay. It's going to be a good time, buddy.
All right, Whit, now it's time to go back in time to tune in to the rest of the episode.
This next segment is presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Football is officially back. This weekend is packed with NFL action, and we have the best picks. Let's do it, Fitz. Your pick 3 looks like what? And I'll pick my 3. Let's see what it looks like.
All right, I'm going to stay with quarterbacks here. I feel like it's the thing I know most about. And as I look over the numbers and I'm checking out this landscape, I'm going Baker Mayfield more than 239.5 yards.
Okay.
I'm excited to see the weapons that he has on the outside. I'm excited to see Joshua Grizzard and the offense that he's going to be calling this year with Liam Cohen moving on. I think Baker's going to have a big day. Second guy's going to surprise some people. But
I know. You're going with your boy.
Daniel Jones, I'm expecting him to have a good year. I'm going to go with my boy. And I know that you don't like this pick, but that's okay, Whit. Daniel Jones is going to have more than 199.5 yards.
You believe?
I believe. I think Shane Steichen is a great play caller. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people are expecting. So I'm going to take Daniel Jones, shocking the world with more than 199.5. And then my final one, and this just feels like a lock to me. Week 1, uncertainty, scrambling around a little bit more than you normally would maybe. The guy that looks like a chicken with his head cut off sometimes when he's running, and I love it. Bo Nix, more than 19.5 yards rushing. I think that one is my lock of the week. What about you, Whit?
You know what I love about you, Fitz, is I know your humor, and I know there's a little bit of, I know Bo Nix is just going to run around instead of throwing it into stuff he can't really know what he's looking at times, so he's going to get 20 yards rushing. I know there's a little bit of that in there, and it's such a nice way to phrase it. Like, I'm really looking forward to him getting 20 rushing yards because he doesn't know what he's looking at. And he's going to protect the football, which is also a good quality of a quarterback. But I'm going to go Cooper Kupp is my first pick. More than 3.5 receptions. I got to take my boy. Not only that, Sam Darnold, new place, lots of expectations, part of a new offense with Kubiak. I think that, hey, who are you going to throw it to? The guy you can count on to be exactly where he's supposed to be all the time and has great hands, and that's going to be Cooper Kupp. So I got Cooper Kupp having a lot of receptions in this one. Sam Darnold's going to find his safety valve, if you will. And then I'm going to go, I love my LSU Tigers, so what are you going to say? Any chance I get, I'm going to talk about them. Jaden Daniels, more than 21.5 completions with Deebo Samuel there now.
Really?
Hey, come on. I think that they're really going to, this is what Deebo does, right? Give him some completions at the line of scrimmage, some of these screens, some of these quick ways to get him the ball. That's going to implement into this offense again. And this is what they do, man. They start off the season, no huddle, all over the place. The football's getting out of his hand fast. I think we're going to see that on Sunday. So my next guy, though, I got to go with an LA Ram. Gosh, I'm just a homer. That's all I am. I'm just going to pick Rams and Tigers. That's it. So Devontae Adams, come on. More than 0.5 touchdowns. All right. I got him definitely scoring a touchdown in this game because I think that, hey, this is Sean McVay's new baby. And he's not going to let an NFL Sunday go by without making sure people know this is exactly why this guy's here. So I'm looking for Stafford and Adams to hook up for a touchdown.
Yeah, and he was an absolute demon with Aaron Rodgers in the red zone. He's going to do the same thing with Stafford. His releases, his short area quickness is insane. So I can't wait.
He has to be a heck of a hooper.
He has to be. And he's an okay golfer, too. He's a little bit of a stick.
He's a pretty good golfer.
Of a stick. It just depends. He played well, you said, in Hawaii, but didn't have a great Tahoe this year.
God, do we sound spoiled. Go ahead.
All right, well, don't just sit back. Get in for free. Build the bag and run it up. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app. Use code FITZandWIT, opt in, and start stacking entries for NFL Week 1. Zero cost, huge upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6.
The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. Must claim token for free entry into bag builder contest. Only perfect entries earn share of cash prize. Tokens are single use and expire September 8th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo. All right, Fitz, week 1 of the NFL season just became your chance to play free and grow the bag. That's right. DraftKings Pick 6, an official partner of the NFL, is here with Bag Builder, a completely free way to play for a share of $1 million or more in cash.
Are you a fantasy fanatic? I know I am. Here's how it works. Download the Pick 6 app, DraftKings' easiest way to play fantasy, using code FITZandWIT. Enter for free. Just make 6 picks, more or less, on player stats for week 1. That sounds easy enough. And that's it. It's very simple. No entry fee, no catch, nothing to lose.
But Fitz, can I make my win even bigger?
Oh, you always are asking for more.
Come on, I got
more. That's just like
never
you.
Satisfied.
Well, if you share your link with your best beardos to add more cash to the bag and get bonus shots to win. As the player count goes up, so does the prize. Hit all 6 of your picks, and you'll be splitting a bag that's already $1 million or more. Don't just sit back. Get in for free, build the bag, and run it up. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, use code FITZandWIT, opt in, and start stacking entries for NFL Week 1. Zero cost, huge upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6.
The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. Must claim token for free entry into bag builder contest. Only perfect entries earn share of cash prize. Tokens are single use and expire September 8 at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Our guest today is a 12-year NFL vet, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. I was lucky enough to play with him during 2014, during one of those years. 7-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time sack leader. He was also one of the NFL's premier pass catchers with 3 career touchdown receptions. And he's making his return to NFL stadiums, only this time he'll be in the broadcast booth. Welcome, my good buddy to the pod, Justin James Watt. How we doing, JJ?
Yeah, baby.
I'm
Let's
glad.
go.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Honored to have caught one of those touchdown passes from yours truly.
Yeah. 2, actually, I think.
Yep.
Was it 2?
2. Yep.
Yeah.
It was 2. You're right. One
Yeah.
was easy.
I mean,
one was hard. Only one came with a squeal, with a true squeal from you.
Yeah. That was the one that was hard. If it was a tough pass, I was squealing. That was sick because I was against Tennessee and you had to go in motion, and I don't know how you caught that ball. Like, you couldn't even see it, but it says a lot about the athlete that you
Perfectly
were.
placed from the quarterback. And you got
Very
me aligned
catchable ball,
because,
JJ. He threw a very catchable ball.
see, that's the complete difference between offensive players and defensive players. Like, I come down there and my first couple offensive plays were super easy. They just told me what to do. And then we got to that one and it was like a 14-word play. And I said, Ryan, you just tell me where to go, man. Because on defense, I got one word. It's like, Redbird. And it's like, okay, that's my job. On offense, there's so much going on. It's ridiculous. You guys are reading books back there in the huddle.
Yeah, it's too much. That's why I like to have the wristband. So then they would just say a number, and then I could read it to myself and then repeat it or read it off of there, because especially when it gets noisy and stuff, way too loud. But I wrote down some stats because I want to get this off of my chest before we get going here.
Go ahead, Fitz.
This is good for you. You should have been the NFL MVP in 2014. And I tell people this all the time. I played 17 years, 9 teams. It was the best individual season I ever saw, and it wasn't even close. 20 and a half sacks, 5 touchdowns, 29 tackles for loss, 51 QB hits, 10 passes defended, 5 fumble recoveries, 4 forced fumbles, and an interception. Like, I don't know what else you could have done that year, dude. It was awesome. So every time he would, like, on third down, they would play Turn Down for Watt.
Yep.
And it became the anthem in that stadium. You're an absolute legend.
I appreciate it. I am on record having said that I don't think it should ever go to anybody but a quarterback if we're going off of true value to a team. And I think that season actually, unfortunately, speaks to it, because we missed the playoffs. I remember watching it on the big screen on the final game of the season after we finished the game to see, I think we needed like the Ravens to lose or something for us to get in. And we didn't get in. And MVP voters, like, if you don't make the playoffs, they're not getting an MVP. That's just a fact. And I think that also speaks to it. Like, I could put up a season like that and it's still, we couldn't get into the playoffs. So value is the word there in quarterback.
Yep.
It touches the ball every single play. He's always going to be the most valuable player. I think if you called it the best player in the NFL, then it's a different story.
Wow, that's a Booth answer right there, Fitz. That was a Booth answer right there.
I think he was saying, if I'm reading between the lines, if I don't get hurt that year and break my tibia late in the year, we win the Super Bowl.
I think that's what he said, Fitz. I think that's
No
what he
question.
said.
No question.
All right, let's move on from that. That's great. Awesome.
Listen, Fitz, you said you had the honor of playing with him. Well, I unfortunately had to play against him, and a couple of those times were down in Houston. So I know that song well because I started the playoffs with Andy Dalton in 11 in Houston, and maybe the craziest environment ever because that city was fired up about that Houston Texans defense. I mean, shoot, Arian Foster, all those guys at that time. That was a hell of a team. What I remember from that moment, Fitz, is, my young guy, Andy Dalton, first playoff touchdown pass wasn't to one of his own teammates. Unfortunately, it was to Mr. J.J. Watt. So he scored another touchdown besides the ones that you were throwing, Fitz.
It was a good day. I mean, Houston football.
That was the moment. That was it.
Man.
That started it all, baby.
It really was. It really was. That was Like people always ask, what's the best moment of your career? When like that was truly the most fun moment ever because never been to the playoffs before, never won a playoff game before. And we kind of did it all in that day. And I got to play a big part in it. That was special, special stuff. We had some good battles. The Bengals and us, we have some history.
We do. There's no doubt about that.
So that game 1, Letterman jacket game 2. What I would say, I played against JJ too, Whit, okay? And there's 2 things I hated about JJ. One, and it was more so in practice, was batting down the balls. As a quarterback, there's nothing more frustrating. And that was a thing that you were really good at. And Kolar, of course, was really good at teaching it. But 2, I don't think I've ever asked you this. You're a very nice guy, but you were really mean. And there's 3 guys to me that would hit me that were like really mean and would hit me harder than they should. And Ndamukong Suh, Cameron Hayward, and you. But like, did you soften up as your career went on? Like, you're tackling a Patrick Mahomes? Like, are we really driving him into the ground as hard as we can? Because I literally remember it just hurt more than everybody else when you would hit me.
First of all, let me start with this and then let me come back to this. I've said this before. I've told you this before, but there's a game when you were playing in Buffalo, in Houston. I think I'm not kidding. I think I had 15 quarterback hits that game. And the final drive of the game was a 2-minute drive for you guys, and you were trying to get down to score. And I swear I hit you on like 7 plays in a row, 7 hits, but no sacks. And every single time I hit you, I was 100% convinced you were not going to get back up. I was like, okay, that was the one. And then you just popped the fuck up, dude. Like, oh my God, this guy is, dude. I after that game, I shook your hand and I hadn't had more respect for a quarterback than you popping up every single time like nothing happened. That was thoroughly impressive. So kudos to you for that. Back to your point, did I soften up over my career? It's really interesting you say that because Brock Purdy, the year after my final year, I played him in my final game. Got him twice. Lost the game.
Side note.
But a year after, I was interviewing him at the Super Bowl for CBS, and he came up to me after the interview, and he said, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know that everybody who asks what it was like to play against you, I tell them that you were one of the nicest people to sack me because you always rolled off to the side. You never really drove me into the ground or pilot." And I was like, I've never heard that before. No. I appreciate that.
So you did. Maybe it came with like fatherhood.
Maybe
that's right.
I softened up over time.
I love
and
that.
you guys just had baby number 2, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah, we got a 2-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. So we're in it over here. We're in it. I mean, nothing like you,
Man-to-man coverage over there.
Whit and I have a combined 11 children. So
and 4 animals.
And 4 animals
all
combined.
dogs?
I have 0.
JJ, it's a big deal. We've had 3 dogs for a while. We've had 4 kids, 3 dogs, and I finally gave in. My youngest daughter got a cat about 2 weeks ago.
Oh man,
his name's Dennis the Menace, and he's pretty precious. I'll go ahead and say he's winning me over. I never thought I'd have a cat. I gave in. The young one, the baby, she still wins you over with that heart. And this would have made her birthday if she could get a cat. She wrote a letter, put it on her chest so that you'd see it every day of why a cat would make her world come true, her dreams come true. And so we got her a cat. So Dennis is now a part of the family.
So what do you do with the cat? Like, what's the day-to-day with the cat?
The cat's pretty cool. He actually, when I sit in my office and I'm like watching some tape or texting or whatever, like he jumps up. He's a kitten. He's tiny, but he'll jump on one chair and then jump on top of the desk and he'll lay up there and take a nap while I'm sitting there doing stuff. You do nothing. It eats up space. It's actually really easy because the bulldog slobbers everywhere. He's a disaster. The golden retriever, it's big and it's all over the place. And then we have a little King St. Charles. It's my other daughter's, and he's pretty annoying. But other than that,
you're all
the cat,
over the place, man.
Yeah. Oh, we're everywhere, baby. We listen, I had to beat Fitz one way or another. I wasn't going to have 3 more kids. So I just had to top him with animals.
Do you have dogs?
I got 2 dogs. Yeah, I got 2 dogs.
So what do you do when you travel? Like, that's my biggest thing with people and dogs.
Yeah, Fitz, I don't know. You know this probably. Fitz hates animals, so.
Yeah,
that is not true. But
I mean, it looks like one, but yeah, he hates them. When I travel, what do you mean? I mean, boredom. I'm fortunate enough to be able to just drop them off at their trainer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't have to worry.
What do you do with your
right.
kids when you travel? Like
we board them. We just leave them at home and just
drop off their trainer.
So we're at the point now though. So Liza and I went out to Harvard with Brady, and so my dad came over, and he was like, "Oh my God, my my 12-year-old Maisie like ran the show, the whole thing, getting the kids ready in the morning, getting them on the bus, filling up water bottles, reading bedtime stories at night. He was like, this thing's on autopilot. And I was like, yeah, tell me about it, Dad. I've been living in this thing for a long time. Like my role, like I'm the water bottle fill up guy. That's what I do. Like that's what they need me for. And now that I know they don't need me for that, like I'm not sure what my role is anymore, but I guess I provide some laughs. I drop one
set off at school every morning, and that's really my only task. And nobody even needs me anymore now. They're all take care of themselves, and
But you don't know. So you have two boys, right, JJ?
Yep.
Yeah. So this whole girl dad thing is a completely different. It's a completely different animal.
I don't know if I could do it, man. My brothers both just had daughters, and like, man, it's got to be tough. I feel like there's so many different phases of it.
Freshman in high school.
Yeah, like that alone, just social media, and like besides regular peer pressure, besides all like the hormones and everything, just social media, man. That's.
JJ, we went to school for 3 days. My daughter comes home. The quarterback asked me for my number. What?
Oh, no.
We've been in school for 3 days. What are we doing? Let's go back to junior high. Can we go back to junior high? No. Stop.
Oh,
listen, all due respect, I'd rather be blocking defensive ends, okay?
Oh, when do you get a phone? What, you guys both got lots of kids?
Okay, so I think Whit and I are a little different on this one. So my oldest daughter is now a freshman in high school, just like his, and she did not get one until her 14th birthday. And I will say, like, she had an iPad or an iPod, right? And so she was still, when she was home, when she was in the house, when she was on Wi-Fi, she was able to, still be a part of it in text, because it's ingrained in their social network now. You have to have a phone. You have to have a way to communicate outside of being in person, but actually physically carrying one out of the house, not until she was a freshman. And I completely, for us at least, it was the right move, and completely stand by that. And we'll probably do it for the rest of our kids. But the thing that you've learned about parenting already, I'm sure, is like, you're learning as you go, and it's whatever works best for your
learning
family.
On the fly, baby.
That's what it was for us. My boys had them way earlier, and I regretted giving them to them earlier. So what are you? You're earlier, Whit. Whit caves a lot. He calls himself the ice cream guy.
I am the ice cream guy
quite a bit. He has a cat, as you've already found out.
When you got I got all the sides, right? The boys, the girls, all that. I'm the ice cream guy. So I don't approach things until somebody's crying and they need ice cream. That's my job. We go get ice cream. We have a good talk. We dry it up, and we get back to work. You know what I mean? That's I'm the ice cream guy. I just clean up the problems, and other than that, I stay out of the way.
I've seen some videos of your nephew. Cushing's son,
yeah,
playing football.
Yeah.
Like, it looks insane. It looks like he's a Brian reincarnated.
It's unbelievable. So we went to the it's called the Tully Bowl, like the Super Bowl last year, and I think he had 8 touchdowns, and he was, like, you're just watching the game and you're like, all right, one of these kids should probably not be out there. Like, he is a lot better than everybody else, and that's Cush's kid, man. It's just they're beasts. Like, they train, they're strong, they're fast, they're agile, and they just snap the ball and gone. And you're looking at these other parents, and you're like, you're cheering on one hand, but on the other, you're like,
yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
But I'm doing that right now. Mine are 13 and 14, and I'm coaching 8th grade football. So you can imagine in that range, it's 13 to 15-year-old kids right now. You got kids that have been through puberty that are way bigger than the 13-year-olds, and they're just looking at you in a drill like, you want me to hit him? And I'm like, hey, listen, this is the game. I can't not. You got to do it. You got to get in the drill, and you got to do it.
Well, you guys both coach, right? So I have a question for both of you, because I'm very curious in this. So being NFL players, everything that you guys have done at that age, 13 to 15, does your experience benefit you, or could a regular dad do the same thing because it's more of like just getting him into the sport and personality control at that age?
I would say when it comes to football, because I coach that, I think that it's probably definitely a benefit, but at sometimes you might think a little more complex than what they're even capable of. So you really have to simplify to like, all right, this seems like it's too simple, but that's exactly what they need from that standpoint. But I think there's also a benefit, like with my teams the last 3 years, we do a lot of things similar to NFL style in the sense of I don't do a lot of like full team practicing, because I want them, a lot of times there is such a discrepancy on who's big and who's not. And it's just a bloodbath if I I'll let, the scout defense go against the starters. So I kind of put it more in like drills. We do lots of technique and drills. And then when we come together as a team, it's more of running all the plays efficiency, line up in the correct spots, a lot of on air, move the ball type stuff offensively, because I want to just get them confident and knowing exactly what to do and who they have. And then the drills are really what I hope come to life when they play football, if that makes any sense.
JJ, we're like, these kids were 4th, 5th, and 6th grade the last few years, like when we were on the road, and he's like showing me his playbook and he's showing me the game plan and he's watching film and he has film sessions at his house. Like, don't let him fool you about all this stuff.
What kind of offenses you got?
We do a little bit of everything, baby. We got a little, I do a little JJ's you would know well, some 2x2, 3x1. We motion to different 3x1s to 2x2s. We just move the kids around a little bit just to cause a little chaos.
We under center and gun.
Oh yeah,
we do it all. Snaps, all of it.
Here's the best part. I go back and forth, and this is really your O lineman at heart, JJ. I have literally like almost goal line jumbo, and then I have ace spread, and it's like that's the two worlds I live in. I want to throw it and I want to do all that, and then a game doesn't go the way I want it to, and I'm like, give me the heavy group, I formation, we're going 42 ISO, rest of the game, just call it every play, don't even ask me. That's where I'm at. 42 ISO, just run them over. And I'm just screaming the whole time. As soon as a pass play doesn't work, we're running 42 ISO. Just know it's coming.
Very similar to me and my coaching prowess. So my 2 oldest are boys, and JJ, you've known them over the years, Brady and Tate. So Tate's now a junior in high school. Brady is now a freshman in college.
Dropped him off this week.
I didn't coach him in football really growing up, though. I helped a little bit in flag, but like because I was so in it in my own career and didn't want to be the overarching shadow, I didn't really coach them a ton in football. I always coached them in basketball. I always helped out in baseball. And I am a girls basketball coach at heart. That's what I do. Now,
he gets
have
into
I
it.
Lost some friends over the years because I had my 6th grade girls pressing the whole game? Yeah, I've lost some friends over the years. But my whole thing with girls in sports is it's okay to teach them to be aggressive too. And I just so happen to have a lot of girls that play soccer that are super aggressive, and we're teaching them how to play basketball.
Can't say the word aggressive out here, so you can't say that's California. You get thrown out of the game.
But that's what I'm interested, JJ. Because my youngest is now 6, but I feel okay now to coach him in football, and I feel like I'm removed enough. I'm curious for you and what you'll feel as the kids get older and how involved you'll be with the coaching.
I'm really curious myself because there's the one hand that you obviously think I know better than whatever coach they're going to put out there because I played the game and I've been through it. But then I really do believe that hearing it from another voice and having somebody else discipline them and having a completely different set of adults outside of the household teaching them these things is huge. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll be perfectly fine staying on the sidelines until I see him teaching a tackling drill. And
exactly, that's what happened, JJ. Yeah. I was till 6th grade. I'm out of it. Like, you guys do whatever you want in sports. They get in 7th and 8th grade, and now you got kids that have grown. They're freaks, athletes out there. You see some coaches putting them in bad positions, and you're like, all right, I can't tolerate this. For the next 2 years, I've got to coach them in junior high, and then when we get to high school, all right, somebody else can have them, all good to go there. But I just couldn't take it. I couldn't sit on the side and just not have some little, can I just move this kid right over here for a second and show him something? I had to get my hands on it.
Coming down.
Do you not see this?
Pick it up.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of that though, JJ, talking about coaching, for you, first, you're going in the broadcast booth. Listen, you dominated the football field. But now when you lean into this, has there been people you've reached out to kind of say, hey, what are some ways that you learned? What are the ways that you developed yourself at this? How have you gone about that, kind of seeking your own coaching as you take on this new challenge in life?
Yeah, people have done it before. I've reached out to Greg Olson, had some conversations with him because he's doing it at such a high level. I've obviously done tons of work with Ian Eagle, Tony Romo, Jim Nance on our own air, having conversations with them, just really trying to figure out those little things that you might not think about. What's not obvious, production meetings. What are some of the questions that you've asked that have given the best answers during the game? Like, how do you dictate your time and what's on your board? All that type of stuff. So I've really enjoyed it because the big difference between the studio and the booth is just the depth that you can get into with the actual football. And so for me, my week is starting to set up a little more like when I was a player. I'm watching first and second down run plays, then I'm switching to third down, and I'm seeing when they're doing what in situations. So I've really enjoyed that because it's kicked me back into player mode a little bit.
Would you argue that you're watching more film now, that you have to watch more film in preparation with two different teams and everything else, and the amount of things that you have to know going into a game?
Yes, because you have to watch both teams, like you said. In a normal week, and when you're playing, you're just watching the other team, and you're just breaking down one side of the ball for one team. Now I'm breaking down both sides of the ball for both teams, and also worrying about the narratives and worrying about the coaching staffs and everything. So yes, I am watching more film and a lot more coverage. I've never watched coverages to the level
Right.
I've watched coverages
Yes.
now.
Yeah. So Ian Eagle, I've always loved him. I think, and you now doing this for the first time, having a true pro to do it with, I think you're going to be really lucky. He's got some of the smaller hands I've ever shaken hands with. I don't know if you've noticed that yet or not.
Oh boy, you and hand size.
So he's doing some stuff with Amazon now for basketball, for the NBA stuff.
Yep.
And so I met him, and I know Ian through production meetings over the years, but I didn't really know him on much of a personal level. And I went up to him. I said, dude, congratulations on everything. And your son, he's doing such a great job. And he looks at me and he deadpans. He goes, we actually don't speak to each other anymore. And it was like, I think he's kidding. And then he let it go on for about 8 seconds where I was like, wait, no, he's not kidding, where I started to apologize. And then, so I appreciate the humor that he can also bring, but just the challenges of doing that week in, week out. And it's not going to be the same teams. So explain to people how that works. You're on the number 2 team, right? For CBS.
Yeah.
And so do you already have all your games, or is it something you're assigned as the weeks go on?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So you get the first 3 games. So I know my first 3 games, and then we'll kind of be on a rolling basis from there, where you get probably 2 games at a time after that, and then late in the season it starts to go week to week. So it's really interesting. I only know games 1 through 3 right now, and I don't know where I'll be going after that. And honestly, the hardest thing for me is just that. It's the travel. 18 road games in a row. There's no home games. There's no bye week. You're going 18 times in a row. And so, like you said, I have 2 young kids at home, and my oldest is about to be 3 years old, and he knows now, like, daddy's leaving, and that goodbye gets a lot tougher every single week, as you guys know, when you have to go on the road. So that's going to be my struggle.
Yeah, that's the struggle, and then you get into it a little bit. Fitz and I, we've learned to embrace the cities a little bit, have spent some time together. Here's a question for you. I got definitely, because this has been a struggle of mine sometimes, and I've actually gotten Fitz on the being active list on our road trips. What's the workout routine when we're traveling? Do you check out the hotel gym? Do you look for places locally that you can go? Do you try to figure that out? Because I do kind of a little bit all the above. Last year, I made Fitz take 10,000 steps with me every Thursday. We would go and just walk.
It was helpful.
How? Just straight walk?
Yeah, we would just go walk the cities. I'd work out on Wednesdays, and then I'd walk with him.
The problem was we would also hit up a bakery here. We'd do a little, lunch there.
Well, it's the only way I could get you to go.
Yeah, burn it while you earn it, baby. Burn it while you earn it.
Yeah, 10,000 calories and 10,000 steps. But you have to work out on the road, right, Jage?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
so when you guys
done
get in what, Wednesday morning?
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I get in, I'm going to get in for the most part throughout the year Saturday. So generally my workouts for the week have been done Monday through Friday. So I'll do a cardio. So most hotel gyms at least have an elliptical or something.
Yeah.
And that's Saturday night. I'll be watching film and doing cardio. But for the most part, I love checking out hotel gyms. Sadly, as you know, I'm
Isn't
sure
this the best?
many not good, but they're getting better. They are starting to come around. The Equinox in New York City is a phenomenal one, obviously, being attached to the Equinox.
I have a bad story with that one, but this is a good one. All right, JJ, here's the problem. You know, I don't know. Your wife actually was an athlete. She's into my wife, no working out. So she only works out when she's home. That's her, no traveling workouts. Okay. So I go to New York with my boys to go take them to the Rams-Eagles playoff game. We go to New York because I had to do something there. And then we take the train. It was sick. Fitz set me, gave me the whole lay of the land of how to take the train system. So we go down to the Philly game, come back, whatever. We stay at the Equinox. I'm like, this is awesome. This place is beautiful. I can work out. Well, Melissa and I, when the season ends, I've been on the road all year. I'm like, babe, we haven't gone away together with all these kids in forever. We're going to New York. We're going to stay at this place called the Equinox. It's going to be amazing. We get there the first night. The next morning, I could tell she's quiet, and they're quiet, and you're like, "Hey, is something?" She's like, "So the one time I get to leave the house, you brought me to a hotel based off of fitness and working out," and I was like, "Ooh, let me go see if the Four Seasons has room." Yeah. So sure enough, we moved to the Four Seasons on Saturday. It was, I dropped the ball just a little bit. I was just thinking about what I wanted to do on the trip. Yep. But you know what? All was better once I got her to the Four Seasons.
That Equinox, from a sleep standpoint, I don't know if you get a better night of sleep. Like you have individual duvets. You got the room drops to like 60 degrees. It's pitch black. It's a good sleep setup.
She just doesn't want to be anywhere near a gym on vacation.
Yeah, that's fair. Sounds like she should go with Fitch somewhere.
Well, JJ, you've obviously never stayed at the Harvard Club in New York. So I know a guy can get you in.
Sean Hayes?
Once got...
Sean Hayes?
I got kicked out of Harvard when I went with Fitz there, so I don't really know.
Two Sean Hayeses, actually. I actually got Richard Sherman. It's one of my crowning achievements in life. I got Richard Sherman into the Harvard Club with a hoodie on, which it's just usually frowned upon. That being said, I was just out there for the preseason game right before you called the Jets game, and I was wearing a T-shirt, and my son Tate was wearing shorts, and they promptly kicked us out of the Harvard Club. So that was fun.
So what's it like in the Harvard Club? I'd like to know. Take us inside.
I know you'd like to know. You know what? I can't. We can't talk about it.
I'm not allowed
Andrew's
to talk about
been in there. Our mutual friend Amy has been in there plenty. Jade, you can ask her. I will say there's a big elephant head on one of the walls.
There's definitely
with tusk and everything. It may or may not have been shot by Teddy Roosevelt. We're not sure, but it is everything that you would think it would be and more. It can be a little bit stuffy, but we're trying to scale it back a little bit.
Do you run that place like you run Augusta National?
No, but you know what? I love that you're bringing up Augusta National because I wanted to talk to both of you about something. You both have had a tremendous glow up, I feel like, in life, from high school to the way it is now. Whit is like the mayor of LA. If you look at some of his pictures and what he used to look like, he's 70 pounds heavier, a little meaner, a lot of Taco Bell in the diet, used to dye his beard black. And now he's like, dressed to the nines and wonderful. I feel like JJ, I don't know what your hair is like right now, but your hair had been looking immaculate.
Oh,
yeah, you're going a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Looks pretty dang good. But
kind of looks like the guy who sets Brock Purdy down softly now.
This is the one thing I appreciate about JJ. You have obviously had this meteoric rise, from central Michigan, from wherever in Wisconsin, to central Michigan to Wisconsin and superstardom. But we go to the Masters, and who do you bring? You bring your high school buddies. What were the names of the dudes? Because I got to give them a shout out here.
Evan, Taylor, and Joe.
Evan, Taylor, and Joe. I'll tell you this. So this is why the glow up has occurred. So I'm a chair runner, Whit. What does that mean? We've talked about it on the show.
This is not good for me. This is not good.
No, we had an army of people. We had 11 dudes running chairs, and we ran 44 chairs in one morning. And I've talked about this on the pod, but guess what? Guess who showed up at 5:30 in the morning? JJ's buddies, not him. What did he do? He slept. And then he decided to show up at like 2 p.m. when it was convenient for him to come sit in the chairs that we put down. So I do appreciate that you still love and include and hang out with your high school guys, but there's also a glow up side to you, a little, LA glamour side. Same thing. You and JJ would have walked in together, actually.
I mean, come on. We get him in the
We'd have had a great lunch.
We give him the
had a great lunch, great breakfast.
Got a workout on yes, exactly.
So one thing that JJ was incredible at, you're only allowed to buy 2 beers, right? And so we'd run and we go buy beers and things, but then you've got multiple people with you carrying sandwiches and other things. JJ can fit, I think it was 4 beers in each hand. And you were kind of doing the walk and it got a little wobblier as the afternoon went on. I think you're carrying 8 beers at a time.
I was proud of my beer carrying abilities, that I could bring something to the table. And then obviously when we ran into Shane Gillis, he had large hands as well. And he was we had an army of beer carriers there, and we drank an army's worth of beer that day. What a day, man.
Oh, dude, it was incredible.
That's
and
awesome.
you know, Augusta on a Sunday, we're golf clapping, and it's not the Phoenix Open or Waste Management Open in Phoenix. But as that day went on, there were some cheers that were getting louder and louder. And
dude, that day, like, we went home after, because the 2025 Masters is one of the best Masters of all time. It's like a top 5er with Rory. And I got home and I was like, I don't even remember seeing the last 6 groups come through. And I'm watching I'm watching the highlights.
What happened?
And they're like, this is one of the greatest Masters in the history of the Masters. And I'm like, man, I was there and I don't remember any of that.
You're like, you're damn
Like
right.
Rory shot on 15, like as
Where's another
crazy
beer?
one around the tree. We were sitting right there. Nothing. I got nothing. I was talking to like
that is fantastic.
Look at this, JJ. This is what you missed the other day. When you moved from Arizona, there was an enormous haboob. Do you miss the haboobs now being back in Houston?
I will say I got a little jealous seeing all the posts about the haboob because it looked like a legit haboob. But I had no idea 5 years ago now. You could have said, what's a haboob? And I would have been nowhere
you know
near
what a
right now
haboob
what it
is?
I'm currently wondering what a haboob is and why we don't like a haboobs being big.
I always like a big haboob. I don't know about you, Jake, but
Yeah,
that's
that's what I was trying to
essentially
figure out. This was a big old haboob.
it's this time of year, Whit, in Arizona, and it's essentially a huge wall of dust that just comes through. And we'll put this on the pod so you can see a better image of it, but you can literally see it coming from miles away. And all of a sudden you're in the middle of it. And, a lot of times it comes with rain, but the trees are blowing over sideways. The visibility, it can catch you and can go to like zero visibility if you're in a car, and it's really dangerous, but then it's gone. It's 30 minutes to an hour and then it vanishes and you don't see it again. But there's some spectacular pictures of it. But if you're not from Arizona, it's something you probably have never experienced before.
Haven't witnessed a haboob. I'm ready. I can't wait.
I do miss that rain smell. I like the rain, the smell after Arizona rain. It's a different smell. I like that smell.
What do you think about Houston this year? What's the outlook for the guys?
I think the common consensus down here, which is accurate, is a lot of it's going to hinge on the offensive line. If that offensive line can keep CJ upright and they can get the run game going, unfortunately now with Mixon out, they'll be good. I personally believe that their defense could be the number 1 defense in the NFL, like Stingley and those guys, and then their front with Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter. Like that defense, the way that they swarm, the way that they hit people, the violence that they play with, and also the technicalities that D'Amico brings, teaching the game to them. Yep. I think that defense could be number 1. But the whole season, in my opinion, is going to come down to, can their O-line hold up?
Now, JJ, as the game changes, as we all get out of it, stuff changes, different, philosophy, schemes, whatever. When you watch right now, is there anything in D-line play you see that sticks out to you that's different from when you played, or maybe somewhere a trend you see that's going?
Honestly, some of the best stuff that I've seen is some of the most basic, is that sticking your helmet under somebody's chin is still the best way to win.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter how much changes. It doesn't matter, like, these schemes and everything. Like, at the end of the day, if you still put the crown of your helmet underneath a guy's chin strap, you got a better shot at winning that rep. And so, like, I watch a guy like Cam Hayward, because I got the Steelers-Jets week 1, and I'm watching this film. Like, he's 36 years old or whatever he is, and he's still just putting his head down underneath the guy's chin and
big,
pushing him
powerful
backwards.
Man. Yep.
That's it, man.
There's no doubt. It's actually Brandon Thorne with Trench Warfare put out this statistic. He obviously studies all that stuff, and he said, he does all these things, breakdowns of like the elite rushers, the elite pass protectors, and then when they go against each other. And he was just talking about the other day on X, he was saying, like, hey, the reality is we can talk about pass rush moves all you want. You go look at the tape guys that win down in and down out, and the most often the helmet's involved. Like, the helmet is like how they do it. Like, they literally use that thing as a weapon to knock guys back into the quarterback or to get themselves to a secondary move. It starts with that contact, and it really is true. I say this now, watching it a little bit for tackles. It's amazing to me how many times I see guys who don't rush physically, and I'm like, wow, like, used to, you would never live in a world where a guy wasn't about to just run right through you a couple times a game, and some of these guys just try to dance the whole time. And it is interesting to me how you do see that the old school way is still the best way.
I can speak to that, though, because I've been there, and I've done this myself, where as a pass rusher, especially the further you go into your career, you start to fall into this trap where you feel like a bull rush or a power rush isn't like sophisticated enough for you. Yeah. Like, you're like, I'm a professional pass rusher. I have moves. I win like all these ways. And you're like, no, you idiot. It's about winning. Who gives a shit what it looks like? Just run through somebody. And you forget that, like, that is the most basic way to do it. And it also sets up all your other moves. So it's something my brother and I have talked about, obviously, all the time. But, like, there's moments in my career where I look back and I'm like, dude, Just, what are you doing? Like, you're not.
Yeah,
some
I
Picasso.
love you saying that because I'll get asked all the time, even now, like young tackles will see me on the road on Thursday night. Like, hey, man, just a thought, man. On the road, it's loud, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. Like, what's your philosophy, man? Like, what are you thinking? Like, the best movie's God? Are you thinking like, and I go, honestly, in all those massive moments, I think, what is the best stance I've ever gotten in? And like the best first 2-3 steps technique wise that I could possibly be in posture and everything else. And like, I'll figure it out after that. But like, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. Like, it's not all this complex stuff. It's like, I want to play the best technical few seconds to start this play. And I bet it's going to all work out. And if not, you know what? It's probably because of that. You know, you go look at sack studies. It's a lot of the time offensive lineman's first step, their first thing that they do, the first thing they do with their hands. That's what really gets them beat in a pass rush. Just the inability to just play within their technique, right? And so it's really that. I mean, sometimes we make it so complicated. You feel like you have to do all these special things, and it really just comes back down to what you've trained your entire life to be good at. Just do that.
What was if you took guys out of it with individual moves and things like that, but what scared you the most? Was it power? Was it
vertical
speed?
I mean, I was never like a great kick out. Even in college, that was my knock. The reason I was a second rounder, it wasn't like true play in and play out. It was, I was never a kick setter. So I was a basketball player in high school. Like that was my thing. So I shuffled out of my stance. I never took true sets. And so coming out, like that was the thing. Like, do you even know how to kick set? And so it took lots and lots of work for me to learn how to get into a kick set. And so probably as I was in like my peak, sure, nothing really I would say was like something I thought about. But as I was older, I tore both my hip labrums. It was like, man, my biggest stress was it's hard to get out of my stance. And if I can just get the stance out of the stance, I'm great. Like I don't have any issues with all that type stuff. So for me, it was really that vertical speed guy. Like I think of the Dwight Freeney's early in my career, Elvis Dumervil, the speed to bull. Like Elvis had one of the best leans. You'll watch his snaps, like his ability, I call it the pre-lean, but it's like before he's not actually moving, but he's just slightly falling forward as the snap's being snapped. And you're like, God dang it, he jumps it perfectly every time. You know, Frank Clark was really good at that for a while in Seattle, like really good at that forward fall, like through the count. I mean, those type guys that could do that, that really got you out of your stance and your technique. But anybody that bigger, strong, long, like all that stuff, that was my alley. So, I mean, I would pray, you know, shoot, heck yeah, this dude's tall, he's long, he's strong. Like that's what I wanted, you know, but people have to remember, I grew up James Harrison and Terrell Suggs. I mean, every freaking, you know, twice a year, I was going to have those two dudes just shoving the crown of their helmet through my chin. So I was hardened. I loved a bull rush because those two guys, it made me ingrain a bull rush into my mind every day. So that's all I thought about all year.
No doubt. Fitz, are there things for a quarterback that's like us, we're just talking here, like you forget to just do the basics? Are there things with quarterbacks where you're like, you feel like you have to be so complicated and sophisticated, whereas if you just did X, you would have been fine?
I feel like just listening to this conversation, it's great because every position is so nuanced. But as a quarterback, like you had to compartmentalize things so much. So we were talking about the play call earlier. You talk about how long that is. But it becomes so natural for you to go ahead and do that. Now, all I want my left tackle to do is to block that guy. Like, I don't care if it's a bull, if it's a speed, if you have trouble with this or that, like just block him. And then when you're getting pissy and complaining about the cadence, then like, all right, I'll change the cadence up a little bit. But to me, like I could never think about those things, the nuances. You know, I would love for a veteran tackle to come up to me and say, hey, you know, if we're going to be an empty 7 times, like we got to do this or that. Okay, great. We can do that. But because there's so many other things I have to focus on, the defense, the personalities of my wide receivers, who's upset because they haven't caught the ball, you know, the play callers, you know, handing the ball off. Are we throwing it too much? Are we running it too much? There's a lot of those nuanced things that I couldn't even think of, you know. But I think a big quality that you learn as a quarterback in the NFL, and it's very important, is having to manage personalities and having to manage guys and make them feel like they're all being heard and make them feel like what they're saying is important. Because if you're not going to get the best out of guys before the snap, you know, if they've turned it off, which can happen quite a bit, then you're going to be defeated before you even go. What about your nightmare matchup? Did you have any when you're going up against a guy where you're like, gosh, this is going to be a dogfight all day long?
I mean, when a guy's strong enough to stop your bull rush and stand in your way, you know, whether that's a Trent Williams or a Lane Johnson, and especially like a guy like Lane, especially, he adds in the fact that he's off the ball so fast, you know, sometimes before the snap even, which I like to give him a little stab for because he's so damn good at it. But if a guy gets off the ball that fast, immediately takes the speed aspect away because he beats you to the spot. So now you naturally go to, all right, let me power, but he's strong enough to hold the power as well, which that's really, really challenging, which it's the most obvious answer ever. But if you got a guy who's fast and strong, it's going to be a long day. And then the other thing is vet tricks. Like Trent Williams knocked down the hands on a bull rush, one of the most frustrating things of all time, man. Like you decide finally, I'm just going to gear up and run through his chest. I'm going to give it everything I got. And you go out there and you stick your hand in and he just knocks it down and you fall straight on your face. And then he lands on top of you just to hold you down. And you're just sitting there like a squash bug. And you're like, I look like a moron right now. So it's those two things really that frustrate me the most. And then the obvious ones of chips and double teams and sliding the protection your way. I hate all that.
What about and I'm gonna take myself out of this one, JJ. I'm gonna take myself out because I know I'm number one. But if you had to go favorite teammate of all time, or somebody that just comes to the top of your mind, a guy that you got to play with that you absolutely loved, who would you say?
Shane Leckler. I love Shane Leckler, man. He's
the best.
He's just one of the greatest of all time.
I love it.
Best punter in history, but even better locker room guy, teammate, friend. It's very, very similar to you, honestly, Fitz, in the fact that you talk about managing personalities and being in a locker room with hundreds of different personalities, backgrounds, histories, families, but could somehow talk to any single guy in there. Go sit at their locker and talk to them one-on-one, sit in a group and hold court and tell stories. Like, it's a very, very unique man who can do that in that locker room. And you have it, he had it. It's special, and it's a really cool thing to watch happen. And Leck is just, and then he'll crush beers with literally anybody.
Dude,
like he'll be after the game, and he'll just have a full cooler in his locker, and you're like, how the hell?
That's awesome.
I think the beer of choice when I was there for him in training camp was Dos Equis, because I think he was in a Dos Equis phase, maybe. But it was
Dos
like,
Equis guy. Did
you just eat there? You just drank like 8 of those in one sitting? Like, what is that? But the other thing that he used to do that it was so impressive to me, like, you know, sometimes, especially back in the day, you put a trash can out there and you throw into the trash can, and I would never hit it, never make it in. And then all the other guys would, and everybody would be like, man, this guy sucks. But Shane used to punt into trash cans. And I'm like, how?
What?
The dude was so in control. He obviously had a huge leg, but was so in control with where the ball was going. It was one of the more impressive things I'd ever seen.
Dude, it's unbelievable what he could do with it and the way he could control it. I have to give credit to John Weeks as well, because I go over and hang out with those guys sometimes. And Weeks had the ability to snap the ball and put the laces facing the direction he wanted. And I've never understood, like, 14 yards away, how the hell are you controlling how many rotations of the ball? It's unbelievable.
That's insane.
But I'll never forget Leck. A great story about Leck was his whole career. I mean, I don't know how long it was, 20 years or something. He had never done a conditioning test. And then we had 1 year.
I was there for this. It was O'Brien's first year.
It was OB's first year, and we had 16 half gassers. And Lex showed up 3 days before it, and they told him, you have to run it. And he was like, I've never run a conditioning test. I am not prepared to run 16 half gassers, dude. So zero notice, zero training. The man had. He was so pissed, man. He was so pissed.
That back got tight in a hurry. I remember that.
That had the lockup right there. Can't put the
what was the worst
down.
conditioning test? You guys have any bad ones?
The one that comes to the top of mind for me, Brian Flores, when I was in Miami, we had a conditioning test, and it wasn't, I was just getting up there to where, like, I was never going to be the huge workout warrior. I was going to, be in shape as training camp went on. And we had it just so happened that my kids were there. So it must have been like the last day of off season or something. And my kids came to practice and were watching, and for them to see their father struggle like that, when I tell you, it got rough in a hurry. And look, I'm already at a disadvantage. I'm running against these dudes that are running 4.3s, elite athletes. I'm like 37 years old, had 4 cups of coffee and no breakfast, having to do a condition test. It wasn't the test. The test was difficult, but it was both of my boys at that point realizing maybe their dad wasn't as great as they thought he was. It was a real moment for me.
I didn't have any. Marvin Lewis wasn't a big conditioning test guy, so we just had like a little more, fitness assessment type thing. It was easy. And then the Rams didn't do it either. So I lucked out. My two coaches, neither one of them were in the conditioning test. So
it's a pretty wild concept if you think about it. Like, we're going to start the hardest training camp practice ever the next day. But first, let's just completely wear you down.
Well, that's how we got in Cincinnati. Guys kept popping calves and stuff. And they were like, why are we doing this? Let's just get to practice. Like, so they backed off the conditioning test.
Are you, body-wise, JJ, are you healthy? Like, is there anything lingering from your career? It looks, look, I follow you on Instagram. I see all the shots. I love all I mean, they're a thirst trap, a lot of them, but
yeah, a lot
I've
of
got my background on my computer.
Lots of thirst traps.
Seriously though, physically, how are you feeling from playing for so long?
I mean, I feel fantastic compared to some of the years I've had, obviously. I'm sure there'll be some stuff later on that'll pop up. I mean, I have a plate and 9 screws in my left leg, and I'm sure at some point my back will pop up again with some more issues, but generally speaking, for having 20 plus surgeries in my career and having a whole bunch of issues, I feel very good. So my body feels great. That's the best part. Everybody always says, "You're excited to broadcast?" I'm like, yeah, I get to go into stadiums, be around NFL football.
Nobody's touching me.
Yeah. And I get to leave on Monday and wake up feeling great. Like, it's awesome.
Yep. That's the absolute best. I always say that. Nobody's touching me. This is fantastic. All right. As long as I don't have to run anybody, I'm good.
Fitz can't answer this, obviously, but you can. Like, how have you handled the workout transition? Because there's a part of me that is holding on to the, like, I know I can squat this weight, and I worked so hard to build this muscle mass over time. I don't want to let it go. But then when I'm doing it, I'm like, this is pointless. The risk reward is not there. Like, where do you find that balance, man? Like, how do you, like, I don't know where to push and when not to push. And it's really hard to figure out.
Yeah, I did it. So this offseason, I actually had to have a come to Jesus moment with our head trainer at the Rams, Reggie Scott, who's a really good friend of mine. And I was training with Sean McVay at like 5 a.m. every morning. And Sean's like, obviously played college ball, but outside of that, he's still in that, I want to prove I'm strong and I can run, I'm in my 30s mode. And our trainer that trains us is the same way. So they're trying to load stuff up, get after it every week, benching and squatting and all this trap bar and all this mess. So I'm doing it with them. And Reggie finally calls me like probably late March, and he goes, "Whit, I was with you for 5 years in LA. I've heard more from you in the last 9 months than I've heard in the entire time you played 5 seasons as a Los Angeles Ram, and you played in damn near every game. Can we just back it down a little bit? Here's a new test for you. If you can still open the pickle jar when the wife hands it to you with ease, we're good. Like, just go sweat, just go move around, just move around. You don't need to lift anything. You don't need to prove to them how strong you are. We don't need any videos that show the squat bar." So I was like, you know what? All right, I'll adjust.
You guys are both psychopaths. You're both psychopaths.
Definitely psychopaths. At one point, I realized this. When you're driving around your car and you're looking around town, and you see the people who you're always like, oh, that dude's walking on the side of the street. He's always out there like walking. And I was always kind of like, man, I wonder what those people are up to, or what, like, who are those people? Like, I realized about a year ago that I was one of those people because I got into rucking, and I would just be walking around Westlake Village, like all over the place with this rucksack on. And I'm like, I can't imagine the people are driving by and they see this 6'7", 300-pound behemoth with a backpack on, just strolling around their town. And they're probably like, what is wrong with this dude?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. I'm trying to figure it out. And I know there's no point, but there's that ego, like, and I put the weight in the bar. I'm like, who's this for? Like, nobody's in here seeing this. It's not like it's stupid, man. Fitz, what about you? You struggle with the same struggles?
Big fitness guy.
Hey,
how's that Boost doing?
You know what though? Yeah. I bought a Boost treadmill that's collecting dust. That was a nice purchase. Whit got me into rucking, and it's actually, I like it because I don't want to run. I'm not going out to jog. I'm not doing 4 miles for fun. And if you go out and walk, it feels pointless. But throwing weight on your back and going out and walking, get the heart rate up a little bit, it's actually something I've found that I enjoy. So I do appreciate Whit for that. And then we go on our 10,000 calorie, 10,000 step walks, like you heard, which, by the way, we might have to invite you on when we're in Houston.
Come on.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of fun. We do inviting ourselves over to people's houses too.
It's kind of our thing.
I'll take you to dinner here. I mean, I don't know if I can afford the sushi bill after knowing how much sushi you eat, Fitz, but there's a place
don't bring Tate and Brady. That's what you got to worry about.
Oh, speaking of Brady and speaking of competitors.
No, that's right.
Have you been playing Papa Shot lately, JJ?
Yeah, how's your Papa Shot game? I've heard some stories. At American Century, Brady stayed with us, and I heard some, there was some.
That kid is a savant.
Heard a few things.
It's like Rain Man. It's like Rain Man. It's when you're watching it. I mean, Fitz. Okay, so I'll set the story for people here. we're at the Masters, and CAA has a tent that we all go hang out at, and they have Pop-A-Shot. So naturally, obviously, the athletes, all of us, gather around Pop-A-Shot, and we start going. I'm competing with my buddies, and look, let's just say a random score is like 90. Like, it's good if you got 90.
It's a good
And
score.
so-
Good score is
yeah.
90. Yeah.
So Fitz rolls up with his kid, and he's like, "Hey, Brady, why don't you just hop in and take JJ on?" I'm like, "All right, great. This is fantastic. I'd love to do this." We go, and I start shooting, and kind of checking his but then all of a sudden, like, I have to stop because I look over. The kid hit like 245. Like, it wasn't even like he was in the same. He wasn't playing the same game I was playing. He was doing like have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I was
TikTok
about
of
to
the
ask
Chinese
you, does he
guy?
have a
The Chinese
weird
guy?
technique?
Yeah, dude.
I knew
just
it. That's
straight,
not
boom,
fair.
boom,
That doesn't
boom,
count.
Boom, boom, boom. Just absurd. And then the only thing that gave me a little solace was Fitz was like, "All right, I'll step in and take him on." And I was thinking to myself, like, "Oh, Dad's going to lay down the law." And then Brady just buried his own father at Pop-A-Shot.
That wasn't great. Yeah. No,
Oh,
wasn't
he can
great.
beat
Wasn't a
you,
great
Fitz?
moment for me.
I
But
didn't know
so
that.
JJ suggested I just dropped him off to get a Pop-A-Shot for the basement of the dorm. And he
Ooh, I like
could probably
that.
pay his tuition through
You know
that.
how much money he could make at Harvard?
Dude, so the year before, it was either the year before or 2 years before in that CAA tent, he bet Christian Kirk $10 a point. And after one game, Christian owed him like $780 or something. And I said, okay, you're not, I did see you just signed a big contract, but you're not allowed to pay the kid any money. So, but it's funny to see because it's a silly game. Guys are all competitive. And JJ is as competitive as they come and was not happy. Not
Well,
happy.
it's like one of
with
those
the way
things
that was
where
going.
like you're actually trying as hard as you can, and when you realize that it doesn't matter if you try harder, you're gonna lose. It's at that point where you're like, all right, do I just quit and act like I wasn't trying that hard, or do I
Laugh it off.
So from what I heard, when we were out putting chairs down, JJ was practicing
I was about to
Pop-A-Shot
say,
in the tent.
I would laugh it
Yeah.
off, and I'd be on my way home Googling, like, how do I order one of these to my house? And I'm going to practice for the next year, and I'm going to see this kid next year.
Yes, dude.
So I
Oh
really
my
want to
God.
check JJ's residence and make sure there's not a Pop-A-Shot somewhere
Yeah.
in there, because I'm
No,
almost
he
sure
was
there
that
is.
good that I couldn't even practice for a year and get that good. I was so angry, dude.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
like everybody playing against you in football. That's how they felt. So there you
Yep.
go. Taste your own medicine, man.
How was drop off, man? How was Harvard drop off? We got to hear.
Dude. So it was just one of those moments. So Liza and I both went there. We met there. She played soccer there. Harvard Yard is where all the freshmen live. And Brady has been to Harvard plenty over the years. We usually try to get back at least once a year. But at American Century in July is when he found out he got off the wait list and got in. And the moment of bringing him there, the nostalgia that kind of took over for Liza and I when we were walking around campus, but it was such a weird collection of being proud, being so excited for the guy, and being sad, like all in one. And it was just this range of emotions that I've never really felt before. And then it's that shot of like him walking, us giving our goodbye hugs, and him walking to his dorm room, and like us walking to the car. And it was like that. I mean, I don't know how you guys were, but when I went to college, I came back for, I think, the first couple Thanksgivings and Christmases. But after that, like, I didn't ever go back. I didn't turn back. Like, and now I live back in Arizona, but it's like, you don't turn around, and this is it. But it's also the point where like, he needs to go.
Yeah.
Like, he's ready for it. He's prepared for this. He's got to go and make some mistakes on his own without mom and dad helping him or fixing him. So it was a really, really cool moment. Super like raw, emotional. And for me, I'm dead inside, so I usually don't have those types of feelings. But
It's my
pretty
favorite,
awesome.
though, when you get emotional.
I know.
Tears? Tears?
So I didn't. There was maybe fluid forming, but nothing fell down the cheeks. But I'll tell you what, and I don't need to embarrass my son, but Tate, my 16-year-old, who poor Tate, like, he's been his roommate for 14 years. They've lived together. They've done everything together. If I would have been there when Tate said goodbye to him at the airport, and Tate was emotional, it probably would have got me. But luckily. Luckily, I was not there for that.
We both know Fitz well. This is how I knew he was in this emotional state. He didn't say anything, but he sent me a baby picture with the Harvard t-shirt, and I knew that was like, that's all he sent. He didn't say a word. He just, he was there. I was like, he sends the picture, and I'm like, Oh, I know what this means.
Yeah.
He's emotional
but that's
right
how,
now.
like, that's how special, like, you know, we both went there. Both my parents went to Arizona State. That's where I wanted to go because both my parents went there. So like both his parents ended up going to Harvard. So that's what he wanted to do his whole life. Like his whole life, he worked for this. And now, like, he's got it, and everything's ahead of him. So it's a cool moment as a parent to be able to experience.
That's awesome, dude. Happy for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So Koa will be class of, what will he be? 2000 and
There will be no
got a ways
Whitworth
to
at
go,
Harvard. I
but-
can assure you that. Okay.
yeah.
No competing in the Ivy League.
No. We're definitely an SEC school family, probably.
Whit, you got any more? I think you got like one or two more things. I don't know if you want a little bet, little.
Yeah, JJ, for good fun. You know, I like these bets. I made one with Brooks Koepka a couple years ago. Unfortunately, my Tigers got blown out by Florida State in this game. So I lost the bet, but I now own a Florida State Seminole jersey with my name on it. But here's the bet. Rams, Texans, week 1.
Okay.
All right. I'm thinking that we make a bet that one of us either has to do a podcast or an appearance. I don't know if it's Pat McAfee. I don't know what it is. You name it. You got to rock 77. I got to rock 99, depending on who wins.
Okay, you got to give me your
Will you
inside
accept the
info
bet?
on Matthew Stafford's back. First of all, how's
Well-
Matt's back doing?
Oh, wow.
All right.
Breaking news.
Well, you know, hey, listen, the guy just started practicing a week ago. That's about how good it's gone. But no, we all know this as a veteran. Like I was telling my wife about this, like there's always things you're going to deal with. And then like it hits a point where people start saying, hey, maybe this is the road we need to go down, or maybe this is the road you need to go down. And it's like, you're getting into this point where you're not feeling good. And it's like, hey, at some point it's like, you know what? We're riding. Like we're either riding or we're not riding, and we got to make a decision. And so, I think for Matthew, it's like, hey man, listen, it's going to be, something I have to deal with. It's not the first time Matthew's had back stuff his whole career, but it is like, hey, we're going to have to ride and go. And so I think that's what he did. And I think good for him. This past week went great and feels like it, he got through it feeling good. So hopefully it stays that way. I'm very hopeful it stays that way because I've been very adamant. I think the Rams are going to have a really good football team, but at the same time, the Texas defense, as you said, I agree. That group right there to me could be the number one defense in the league. And really, if CJ Stroud gets, some protection to get back to what he was like as a rookie, that's a dangerous football team.
It's going to be a good game. I am looking forward to that one. I will put it out there with you. We can do either jerseys. We can do LSU, Wisconsin. We can do
whatever you want.
like. Yeah. So I'm up for it. I like that. That's going to be a very good game. I thought there was a chance we might get that one for our week 1 matchup. That should be a very good game.
Why didn't you include me, Whit? I played for the Texans, or JJ, I played for the
I
Rams.
mean, you could
be
be bet with yourself for half the games in the NFL every weekend.
That's why I end up showing up without a shirt all the time.
Okay, so here's the question I have for you that you can answer definitely. Your favorite uniform you wore in your career.
Ooh, I was going to say favorite child. I could definitely answer that.
Yeah, I know that one.
Like of all the throwbacks, of all everything, if you had to put one uniform on.
I think it's the Miami throwbacks. I think they're so sick, man.
They're so cool.
My whole thing was like, I didn't want to be an all white. This body shape and size, I didn't want to be an all white ever. That was the big
Lineman's
thing.
nightmare.
I think the Miami throwbacks were pretty dang sick. I would go with those.
They're awesome, man. They got to go with those full time. Like they kind of went to that, like new Dolphin and everything. Like just go back to the throwbacks full time. They're so cool.
Go back. Yeah. Just like Dan Marino's got to come out and say it.
The problem, Fitz, all white, sometimes you get away with. It's the dark pant white jersey that just, you look like an ice cream. Like it looks like
accentuates.
It's like literally look like a stick with ice cream on top. I mean, it's awful. We were all yellow. My second year with the Rams, I look like Big Bird.
Yeah,
I literally look like Big Bird. My big, long, skinny legs. I literally look like Big Bird out there. It was terrible.
The color rush, man. There's some good color rushes, and there were some really bad color rushes.
Yeah, there were some bad ones. You look good. You did the all black in Arizona, didn't you?
Yeah. I like the all black.
Yeah.
The all black was good. I really like.
I'm excited for the
all blue.
robbery stuff this year. You have the robbery.
I'm interested
unis.
to
Those
see
look
that.
pretty sweet. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
We do feel like we're teetering on too many uniform territory. I feel like we might be teetering there.
However we can make money, just keep selling those alternate jerseys, baby. So my biggest thing, and the thing that pisses Lies off, and just now, like wanting to buy jerseys for my younger kids and, having worn through the sizes or not having them, I can't order one from the NFL shop with my name on the back because it's 11 letters and they only allow you to do 10 letters. So
I actually know this, Fitz,
yeah.
because I tried to order a jersey to be funny for you, and I did not know that. And then I'm like,
Yeah, you
what?
can't do it.
You can't put his name on the jersey?
One of my neighbors in Houston once, and it's not putting him on blast. It was a super nice gesture, but they got my jersey for my kid and took the C out of my last name as if it was acceptable, just because you could put 10 letters in there, like you wouldn't notice. But it was a nice gesture. So, wow. JJ, dude, we appreciate the time.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother.
You are the best, man. Best of luck with calling games this year. I can't wait to text you and check in and see how it's going. Certainly something I think we're both interested in a little bit too at some point.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you for the entertainment, both on Thursday nights and with the podcast. You guys are great together, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So we appreciate the entertainment. I appreciate the way you guys handle yourselves and the men you are. So it's a lot of fun to watch, and it also sets a good example for the rest of us. So I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys for Thursday night in Houston.
Yes, sir. We'll see you in Houston, baby.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
All right. It's time to introduce a new segment that I know JJ would enjoy because he's an animal lover just like you, Whit. It's called Harvard versus Hank. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to use my big Ivy League brain to pick the winners of some of these games this week. And Whit, your dog Hank, is going to use his little bulldog brain to pick the winners. I just pray that all those wrinkles on his face don't also equal wisdom. So this should be light work for me, being a man with 17 years of experience in the NFL and now being paid to share my infinite wisdom about the league. I can't imagine it going poorly for me. So here we go. I'm going to start with the Bucks versus Falcons, and I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Whit, what does Hank think about this game?
Hank, free. This one or this one?
I know. I thought about it for a while too, Hank.
Free.
Oh, he's going Bucks. He's going Bucks.
Okay. Right. I like it.
Hank,
I like it.
Do you think will Hank be able to eat 5 treats in a row? Or
I don't know. We're going to find out.
All right.
We're going to find out.
Second game, if you want to get new cards.
Where are we going, Fitz? Where are we going? Tell me
we're going
to
go Steelers and Jets, if you have those two cards handy.
Steelers, Jets. Whoa, back up, big dog. Back up.
Hank's face looked like someone tried to sculpt a dog out of mashed potatoes. Look at that thing. All right, Steelers, Jets. I'm choosing the Steelers over the Jets. Hank, what do you think? Who's going to win this one?
Free.
Got a little battle here, Hank. Justin Fields, former team. Aaron Rodgers, former team.
Oh, we went Jets.
Wow. Upset City. Hank.
Oh, Hank.
Let's go Broncos Titans now. Hank, this should be an easy one. And I know it looks like you're permanently judging me right now, Hank. I get it. But I'm going to pick the Broncos over the Titans. Hank, what do you think? What do you think, Pooch?
All right, Hank. You got it, buddy. Go, Hank. Broncos, Titans. Come on. Free.
Your dad's friends with Sean Payton. He's also friends with Callahan.
Come on. Which one?
Uh-oh.
Oh, he doesn't like either one of these teams.
I know, but right now he's staring at Cam Ward. He's thinking
Titans, Broncos. Okay, Hank.
Hank, do you want me to pick a different game? I mean, he looks upset at me.
He's not happy with this.
Hank.
Grab me something from the kitchen.
Can we order some pizza for Hank or something?
Oh, he would be crushing.
Hank, this just doesn't seem like that hard of a pick to me.
Yeah. Well,
this might be the biggest spread of the weekend.
I think he's got a lot of belief in Cam Ward.
Yeah, he's a big Cam Ward guy.
Big Cam Ward guy. All right, Hank. Here it is, buddy. Broncos or Titans?
Broncos or Titans, Hank? What do we think? Why are you looking at me?
I don't know if he likes Fitz. Free.
Yeah, well, I don't like you either.
Which one?
Quit trying to get him to eat the Broncos one.
I'm not. Come on. Dude, I've never seen him not eat. You okay? You healthy? Come on.
I hope he shits all over your seat there.
Here. Free. Which one you want? Oh, he's going Broncos.
Go Broncos.
He went Broncos.
All right. Broncos, let's go get your Jaguars and your Panthers on. So I'm not going to tell. I think Hank's listening to me. I'm not even going to tell him who I'm picking here.
Dude, he can hear you, I think, here.
Panthers.
All right, Hank, pick one. Jaguars or Panthers? Come on. Jaguars or Panthers? Which one, bud? He's still licking the chair of remnants. Ooh, he's thinking about it.
He just licked his balls. That's what he thinks about this game.
Oh, he's going Panthers, folks. He went Panthers.
I'm picking the Jaguars.
Come on, he's a Bryce Young fan.
He's a big Bryce Young guy. Okay, and for the final game, Whit, Monday Nighter, we've got the Vikings and the Bears. I'm taking the Vikings in this game. I know that Hank's a big Ben Johnson guy. He's a big believer in Caleb Williams, but I know that he also likes Kevin O'Connell, so this is going to be a tough one for him.
All right, Vikings, Bears. Who you got? Oh, he didn't have to think about this one. He went all Vikings fast. No, now he's going Bears. I don't know. He just picked both. This might be a tie. It might be a tie. Hank the Tank, baby.
All right, so to summarize, I'm going Bucks, Hank's going Bucks. I'm going Steelers, Hank's going Jets. I'm going Broncos, he's going Broncos. I'm going Jaguars, he's going Panthers, and we both pick the Vikings to win on Monday night. We will see. We'll see how smart you are, Hank. But I think I got you. Now. Yeah.
Get him, Hank. Get him. Yeah. Get him.
I like this. I like dogs. If I just have to Zoom with the dog, I like it.
I think this is your world for dogs right here.
Yeah. Virtual. I'm a virtual dog guy.
Should I put the headset on him like Peter or no? Peter called a game the other night. He's jealous.
Yeah.
He wants to call a game now.
That's it for us, but we'll be back on Wednesday to talk about our biggest takeaways from all the Week 1 action, and we're going to be responding to your comments and picking a fan beard of the week, which I cannot wait for. So send in your beard picks and follow the show on all your social media at Fitz and Whit with the "and" spelled out. Fitz and Whit is a Wave original. Thanks to JJ Watt for joining us. Thanks to our production crew, and thanks again to all you beardos for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Good job, Hank. Peace.